All right. Hey everyone, my name's Harish and
My name's Soham.
this is the Bite Size Weekly. It's been quite a while once again. But this podcast is especially special, mainly because it's our I think we could say 1 year anniversary of our podcast being made, and it's our 15th episode,
Yep.
to be exact. So I guess we could say we're pretty proud. I never actually thought, we would be. I mean, we're doing our best to make the most content we can,
Yeah.
and it's pretty impressive, at least to me, right? And I'm pretty happy about that, and I'm thankful that you guys stuck with us for so long. um, so let's get right into it. So how's your week been? How's your month been?
Yeah. I mean, it's been good. Yeah. I mean, really, it's been sort of chill for me in terms of my life.
Mhm.
Nothing. I mean, chill as in like it's been the regular schedule, which is pretty hectic, but nothing like
Yeah.
out of the blue.
Mhm.
Um, for me personally. But
Yeah.
what about you?
Um, Me, okay. There's been a couple of things. So just got a new job, right?
Nice.
Started working at Dunkin', Dunkin' Donuts.
Nice.
And then or I didn't start. I start next week, next weekend, and then started spring track and field. Started that. Um, and then I don't know, just been chilling, I guess. Just been doing the usual school, coming back and forth. Senior year, senioritis.
Yep.
Been hitting diff. Been hitting diff, definitely.
Does
Um,
this mean I get like free rewards at Dunkin' now? Like,
I mean, if you come at 7:45 at night, and if you keep it on the low, that might be a yes.
you already repping the colors.
I know. Oh yeah, the bite size weekly colors, and the
Colors.
Dunkin's pink. Dunkin's pink. Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
bite size weekly orange and white. Sounds wearing white.
I,
I mean, other than that, dude, what's been going on with school? You got prom coming up soon,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um, oh, Six Flags trip,
Yep.
dude. Trips, at least in our school, is such a headache.
Yeah.
We see other schools, like some kids are going to Alaska, some kids are going to Hawaii, some kids are going to like Colombia,
Yeah.
right? And then we're going to Six Flags, and our school can't even offer us Disney World, Disneyland. Like
Same.
seriously?
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
been disrespectful, to be honest, to seniors, but nah. But yeah,
Hey, I guess they're trying their best. Whatever.
yeah, they're trying their best. I don't think we can blame them completely just because nobody really knows like what's going on. But it hurts. But I like for them, it's like we're trying. You're trying your best, so it's all right. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll get into I think what
Oh,
the world has been
yeah.
talking about for the
Um,
past 17 days, and
yeah.
I mean, and much before that too. Like Russia has invaded Ukraine. It's been 17 days since the invasion, um, and it's absolutely terrible and it's terrifying to see that unfold on not just like television, but all of social media as well. And that's something we'll get to later on in this podcast. But it's I don't want to use the word incredible but it is incredible that we're able to see a war going on like on TV and like on social media, and it's terrible that it's happening, obviously, and there's just a lot to discuss. So
Yeah. So I think Putin launched his so-called special military operation on February 24th, right? And we we've just gone through a pandemic. Now we're going through what is now being called the Russia-Ukraine war, right?
not
Um,
conflict, not invasion, war. It's just
yeah,
all out conflict, like full on war.
yeah, and honestly, it's it's a sight to see, at least for us. Like I feel like we've gone through 16 years of nothing, and then all of a sudden we just started, this after this after this. Like for
Yeah,
us 17-year-olds, right? Like,
yeah,
life is pretty much normal, boring, I guess you could say. All of this starts
right,
happening out of nowhere, and then we're like,
right when
well,
right when we're turning 18, man, it's going
it's getting
down.
hot. It's getting hot. Yeah. Um, so what can you just lay it down for me? What's happening right now? Like how did this start?
Right.
Where did it come from? Where did this, all really trickle down from, I guess?
Right. So I mean, not to get too history professor, all y'all, but really it started after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1990. So obviously the Soviet bloc was a sort of conglomeration of all these countries under direct Soviet influence. I mean, not just influence, but under the Soviet Union directly, and then you had a bunch of countries under Soviet influence. Um, and at that point in time, obviously that was the height of the Cold War after let's say World War II, right? That's when the Western powers and the Soviet bloc was sort of at its peak, economic and military tension, political tension going on in the world. And so as a result of that, and as a result of the Soviet Union ultimately being dismantled, was the creation and independence of countries such as Ukraine, right? And so Russia, after the fall of the Soviet Union, started to see its sort of global um, decrease in terms of global positioning and strength, right? Because we still think, I mean, it is, Russia is a global superpower, right? However, if you look at the rates in increase of economic growth of a country, let's say like China, and needless to say, the United States, it really just overshadows Russian growth and development in the 21st century, right? And
Hmm.
so that was a real blow to Russia after that happened. Now there's also NATO, right, the North American Treaty Alliance or organization. North, yeah. So NATO is basically a military alliance that was made to stop the communist or Soviet push influence across the world, and to primarily protect Europe from that, right? And so what you see now is Ukraine always has expressed an interest in developing deeper ties with the European Union, with NATO, and with Ukraine making the step or going to make the step to join NATO. That was a huge, what Putin calls threat to Russian, as I quote, threat to Russian development, or as he quoted, he said that, and so in an address on 24th February, which was the day that the invasion started, Putin said that Russia could not feel safe, develop, and exist because of what he claimed was a constant threat from modern Ukraine. So that was from BBC, right? And so he that was the whole point of the invasion. And mind you, this isn't this the recent invasion isn't the first time we're seeing a conflict. In 2014, Russia annexed Crimea, part of Ukraine, and they also made a separatist rebellion that took control of the part of the Donbas region. That was from the New York Times, and that conflict is still going on, killed about 13,000 people, right? And so this has been an ongoing thing for decades, right? And this was the boiling point. This is when it boiled over. And now we're seeing, coming up to right now, we're seeing Russia launching a full-scale invasion, ground, air, and sea invasion on Ukraine. And what they've made progress toward is the capital. So they're essentially trying to take over Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine, and Kharkiv, and a bunch of other urban areas. So that's really what's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's basic outline.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Putin is justifying the invasion with, a multitude of falsehoods, I guess you could say. People in Donbass, or I think that's how you pronounce it, or in eastern Ukraine, been facing humiliation, genocide. Russia wants to denazify Ukraine, right? Neo-Nazis want to
Yeah,
seize power.
he called
And
like I think I was watching one of his things. He said the Ukrainian leadership is filled with like Nazis and drug addicts, which was a completely like on like it was just false. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And like what's worse is that Zelensky, which is the President Zelensky, as I should say, President Zelensky, who's the president of Ukraine, he is actually Jewish, and his relatives were killed during the Holocaust. And so for them to make claims like that, right, just completely out of the blue, like claims, it's absolutely like disgusting to see that.
see, and also in the 1990s, Ukraine, basically gave up. It's the world's third third largest, I think, nuclear arsenal, right? And inherited it from the USSR, or the Soviet Union. And Russia first, they said that they're, going to respect their territorial integrity, right? As I think it's international law, right? And then to not use force against it. But as we can see, Russia said, "Don't care." Already started
Yep.
with a lot of force, I guess you could say. Um, so what do you think is going to be happening? Sooner or later, or what are your thoughts so far about the war?
I mean, this whole situation is completely like unpredictable. You know, like I'm not an expert, but the first of all, the invasion was right up till the point that it happened, no one believed it was going to happen, right?
Mm.
No one believed it was going to be this. I mean, so I quote this. This is the largest ground invasion since World War II in Europe,
Mm.
right? And so like no one saw this coming. And even if we had all the information, we had all the intelligence, we saw the movement of troops and movement of Russian troops, we saw the Russian intelligence, we saw all of that going in a direction that yes, they're preparing to invade. We knew that, and but we didn't think it was going to happen just because it was so outlandish, right? Um, so it's really hard to make predictions about what's going to happen. You also have to think about what Putin's going to do, right? And so so in order to kind of analyze what Putin's going to do, you need to know like his intentions for doing it and why what he has done before. So we have already established, yeah, he's not afraid of going in, annexing places, right? Did that in Crimea, invaded Georgia too, right? Georgia in Europe, obviously. And so we know that this has been done before. And so we also know, not on this scale, but it's been done before. We also know that his intentions of doing and what really is causing this on the Russians, right? Like, they've been taken out of the SWIFT banking system, which is how the world sort of the monetary, or not monetary, but like how the world governments do banking in a way, right? And so that blew a huge deal of, that just set them back a lot in terms of how much they can trade with other countries and how much they can finance, right? And so you see obviously an effect of that is a Russian ruble just dropping in comparison to the dollar. Like their economy is in shambles right now. And so like that's directly contradictory to like the whole promise that the invasion of Ukraine is some sort of safeguard against further Western aggression and to grow the Russian sort of world, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense. And
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but
yeah,
speaking of in shambles, so you know, I just want to make a quick point. Russia's entire military operation is completely in, disarray, disorganized, you could say, right? I mean, you see Russia's forces scattered around Ukraine,
Yep.
not knowing where they are, no communication, because they have no logistics,
Yeah.
right? I think I remember hearing something or like seeing something. It was like they have no logistics department, right? So they're getting absolutely zero communication. I mean, I guess good thing for us, cool, right? But like, um, it's just funny to see how unorganized and weak
Yep.
and weaker. They're just getting weaker and weaker if you think about it, because they're putting a lot of assets into this whole war, right? I mean, any war depletes a nation, entirely. So they're already economically weak, right? And with the sanctions that from the US especially, I you don't we don't even know how bad it is for Russian
Yep.
military, right? Like they might be. I remember seeing something as well. Russian military is starving, right? They don't have any food for like the next day or something. They're like getting rations and stuff. So honestly, I would say this war is somewhat coming to an end, right? It's just that Putin is stubborn out of his mind, I
Yeah.
guess you could say, and he just doesn't want to accept, or at least a settlement, right? He just doesn't want to accept it. So I mean, I guess we'll see sooner or later, right? What's going to be happening, um, but you know,
Absolutely. I think, and also, what's weird is Putin has been known because Putin's been in the political stage in the world for years, right? More than any American president. Because American presidents, you go in 4 years or 8 years, you come out, right? Putin's been there for like, I mean, he took power in 2012, and then he's been like in power uh, before that too, since like forever. So and so what the world knows of Putin after a lot of analysis is that he's not a very he's a very cold and calculative person, right? You look at any interview with Putin, he never makes up until now, he never makes like any statement that isn't absolutely calculated. And politicians do that, but it really, and his actions kind of justify his words. Putin's known to be very cold and calculative. I mean, it's Vladimir Putin, right? And so for him to make irrational decisions is very suspicious, considering that, you know, is this what they want us to think? Like, is this what Russia wants you to think, that they're failing miserably? Is there an ulterior motive to it? Because it really is surprising, is what you're describing is absolutely true, is Russia is not, I mean, if you look at their advance, and if you look at, okay, fine, I admit Ukraine is no pushover, right? Ukraine has a proper military. It's been trained by the West, right? They have the equipment that they need, because they've been supplied that equipment, from the Western nations and from NATO, right? So they're by no means like just any military, right? They're pretty good military. They're holding up their own. But if you look at that, and if you look at the sheer size of the Russian armed forces, and the how advanced they are, it makes no sense about why they're taking this long to take over, right? Um, it really just makes no sense, especially if they're going all out. They're not. If you look at their military actions, from what I've seen and from what I've read, they're not like holding back, right? Like
yeah.
the United States has done in other countries, right? Like
Mm.
they're not sort of unleashing their whole power. They're just going at it. And for a country with armed forces like Russia to just go at it, you would expect the war to be over in like 2 days,
Mm.
right? And it really
Yeah.
makes no sense. So it brings up suspicions like, are they doing this to like, is there an ulterior motive to it? Because I'm sure Russia's better than that.
It's no, I feel as if it's like a grab for power, right?
Yeah.
I forgot like what it was really about, but I feel like I remember seeing they wanted to spot, no, I don't know. It was like they wanted to become like they wanted to remake the Soviet Union. I'm not sure what it was though. Oh, Oh, I think it was something about NATO instead. So basically, Ukraine became an ally with NATO or something like that, and then what's it the UN? You know what? I'm not gonna speak on this because I don't have
I
enough
think they
information.
recently joined the European Union, the EU. So they
Mm,
recently joined the EU, but that was after the invasion. That was a couple of days ago.
yeah,
And so really just so militarily, it makes no sense, right? Like what's going on? And so that raises suspicions. And now I think we have to talk about this. China. Like China, so that's where the suspicions kind of get solidified is that Putin is not the type of person to just do stuff, right?
yeah,
Um, so there's a very cold and meditated way of that he does things. And so there's no possible way that Vladimir Putin wouldn't anticipate that the United States and the Western nations are going to sanction him. They knew that was going to happen. They knew that their economy would be in shambles because you take away your trading power, and one of their main economies is oil, right? So you take away their trading power, you you essentially like immobilize their economy. So you knew it was going to happen. The question is like China has some of the biggest banks in the world. They
yeah.
are the second largest economy, I think, 14
Mm,
trillion, right? Um,
mm.
US is 21 trillion. I mean, they have the second that they have the largest banks in the world, really. And so you got to ask: are they financing this whole thing? And if they are, is this going to be is the Russian invasion of Ukraine going to be a justification for the Chinese to invade Taiwan? Let's say, right? And this has been there. It's like and especially considering and this isn't anything like conspiracy theory because people are saying that China's looking at the U.S. response to this. The United States is doing is sanctioning. Like, really, there's been no action taken by this administration. And so, what everyone's saying is like China could go tomorrow and invade Taiwan, but Taiwan's not part of NATO, so we're just gonna sit here and say, "Oh, denying you from the SWIFT banking system." It doesn't matter for China. China's got, they've got the was it? They've got the China National Bank, which is like the second, if the largest bank or something, after like JP Morgan, something like that.
Mm.
So like their financial power is huge, more
Some
than
it's some
Russia's for sure.
some huge communist scheme.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm just kidding.
Right, and to substantiate these claims, we recently see, and so there is a genuine concern about this, because otherwise, our national security advisor, Jack Sullivan, wouldn't be talking to. He recently talked to his Chinese counterpart regarding what China is doing. Obviously, they said no, right? So this was recently reported. So the United States has hosted talks with the Chinese sort of delegation, and they're denying any sort of involvement in financing Russia's invasion. Um, but when you put two and two together, when one aspect is Putin knows very well that his economy is going to just disintegrate, and he knows very well that China is a pretty good ally, and China has the financial power to finance this operation. You have to ask the question, and you have to analyze, what are they both getting at, right?
I mean, it's just power, right? I mean, first they want a seat at the big table. That's basically it. They've been denied. I don't know if Russia is still on the UN, is it?
Yeah, the Russia is still on the UN Security Council, and Russia is a veto member. So what that means
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
Russia can
Part of
veto
the big five. Yeah.
it's a big five, so they can veto any bill or whatever comes out of the UN. But I don't really give a shit about the
Mm.
UN because they don't do anything,
Yeah,
right? All they do is like they just name stuff, right? Like, I mean, apart from like statistics, I mean, I don't really care much about it. So like
they
the
got
UN,
UNICEF.
yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like what they like the UN, all they did was they took the WHO statistics and they declared COVID a pandemic, and they're like, okay, they did a pretty good job for Ebola, but like apart from that,
Yeah.
in terms of military response, they didn't do whack in Rwanda or anything like that. But like if you look at what they said, what the United Nations was making a move to condemn, the, officially, I think, condemn the Russian invasion in the very early stages in Russia because it's a veto member, just like said, nah. Like that just makes little sense because that's, you know, that's how the UN was created after World War II. The people, you know, the country.
The Atlantic Charter with Winston Churchill and I think it was FDR, right? And then basically they came together. I think it was on a boat or something.
The victors of World War II carved out the pieces. They took, you know, they became veto members of the UN. Russia's on the Security Council, which, I mean, how much influence that has, I don't really care. But like that's what's going on right now, is that Russia's seeing like how much it's decreasing in terms of like relevance. Russia has no clout. Like before this,
no, it does. It really doesn't.
like before this, like okay, Soviet Union was pretty powerful, but like after that, who cares? China is more powerful at this point. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny how we created these international charters, right, to stop the wars, stop the, you know, aggression or unprovoked aggression against other countries, but instead it keeps happening, right? I mean, it's all for selfish greed.
yeah,
And
you,
they just want to grab at
this happening in like the 21st century. Like, you know, you just never imagined like, oh my god, tanks rolling into a country. Like obviously, like we've seen that situation in Afghanistan and Iraq this entire, you know, 21 years, right? And so let me kind of backtrack on that. So when I say that no one would have imagined, I mean that it's not, I don't know why no one would have imagined, because yeah, it's new, like the whole invasion's new, but like if you look at military conflicts, the 21st century, there's been plenty, right? There's been plenty in Afghanistan, there's been plenty in Iraq, right? And so like it's not really that surprising, but it's also surprising in the way that Ukraine has like the fight in them to actually push back this Russian invasion. And so like this is conventional warfare is what you know what it is, like uniform versus uniform. So this entire 21st century, especially with the big powers, we've seen the United States fight terrorism, right? And so that was its own thing, right? So like in the Middle East, there's been a whole range of unconventional warfare going on, right? And so like just seeing the conventional warfare going on, right, where you see troops marching like, you know, in step, and like tanks rolling in, you know, stuff like that, or like with other tanks blowing other tanks up, and like you see like the drone strike, the Ukrainian drone strikes on the Russian convoys. Like it's insane.
yes.
But
I mean, yeah, I remember seeing this video of like some dude in Ukraine getting run over by a tank. And I was like, oh my god, oh shit. Like this is where it's really getting serious. And you know, speaking of things I've seen online, I might as well bring up this. I don't know if you can see it. Can you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait. Can you turn on screen sharing for a sec?
Yep, I got you. All right. Let me
actually just give me a second. Right. Putin challenges. So sorry, yeah, you could continue about something else for 1 sec. Just give me a second.
I mean, I was just saying about like your social media point. It's insane because now we see guerrilla warfare being shown over social media platforms. So like it's never before have people like made instructional videos on YouTube and TikTok teaching the Ukrainian people about how to make Molotov cocktails and throw it. Like that information, like in today, and this is a glimpse into how warfare is being held in the 21st century, right? Is that you're literally teaching, like you can literally, that the flow of information is so easy. And so really they're like controlling that becomes so much more difficult for, let's say if you're Russia, right? because you have like now you can literally search up all the information you want on how to like do guerrilla tactics, and that's
Yeah.
pretty dangerous for an invading military. Um, but yes,
So
about this.
yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, Elon Musk challenges Putin to single combat for Ukraine. I hereby challenge. I do not know how to pronounce that, but to single combat stakes. Or okay, did you think this through, or am I missing something? I am absolutely serious. It's the funniest thing too. Like,
Never before has this happened.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, imagine like Rockefeller challenging Hitler to like to like a combat match. Like, what the hell? But
Oh my
speaking of Elon Musk, like I also think this is pretty interesting about how the rise of private enterprise plays in global affairs nowadays. Like if you recently saw President Zelensky tweeted, um, Elon Musk, like, we need Wi-Fi. And Elon Musk was like, yep, Starlink is up. Like, y'all good.
God.
So like it's insane because that's more than the United States has done in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah,
active help, except for giving weapons and sanctions and whatnot that we do anyway as a part of allied as an allied country. But that's literally like they set up their Starlink system over Ukraine, and so like now I'm not sure if this is if the effects of that have been felt yet, like if they have internet, but like just shows how powerful these companies are. Like you see like presidents of other countries tweeting, by the way, another main point I think we're skipping over, tweeting on to Elon Musk to open up Starlink. And that's just the most insane sentence I think I ever said.
yeah.
Sovereign
I
president
mean,
asking a CEO to open up their satellites so they can get internet during a war. Insane.
yeah, it's like asking a neighbor for the Wi-Fi. And honestly, no, like, what's it? Elon Musk is the Iron Man of our generation.
I think I've successfully privatized world peace.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Like
remember that scene?
he's done it. He's done it. He's honestly the GOAT. I would say Elon Musk the GOAT. And I guess he could be an idol for many people and many generations to come. But honestly, yeah. I don't know if the whole thing is true or not, where he's, really he said he's serious. So I mean, I guess he's serious. And when Elon Musk, haven't seen him backed out of anything yet.
Yeah.
So
Bro said he was going to launch rockets. Bro did it. Like,
bro said he was going on the moon. He went on the moon. So I mean, it's not doubt the man, honestly. And with Russia and how they're handling things, I'm putting my money on Elon. Like, I'm putting my money on Elon. So, but honestly, war going forward. What do you think? So, let's see. Russian forces have not entered the western third of the country. What's it? Russian units in the north appear to be preparing to attack Kyiv. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Oh yeah. Did you talk about how what's it? They're calling this a special military operation and not. Yeah.
yeah. So I think we covered just a little bit of it before, but yeah. So instead of calling it an invasion, they're calling it a special military operation for So give a little bit of background. Russia is saying that the Donbass and I think another region is technically Russian, right? And so they're saying that the Donbass region has declared their independence, and thus they don't want to be a part of Russia. And so with the Russian troops going in, it's sort of like Russia just protecting its own land, right? However, like nobody in the Donbass region has said like, yeah, we want independence, right? So that's kind of like a political or say legal loophole. But honestly, like if Putin had openly said it was an invasion, I don't think it would have mattered in his government either way. Like I don't think anyone's gonna like any judge in Russia is gonna be like, it's not an invasion then. Like if it's an invasion, we need to have these procedures. Like no one's gonna say that to Putin. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, Putin's calling it a special military operation, and that what I was saying is it kind of degrades like the invasion. So that makes it seem like Russia's not really invading a country. It makes it seem like Russia's just doing something to protect their own interests, right? Sort of
Yeah.
like how you would like insert like a special operations team to take out a terrorist. They're making it seem like that, right? But it's not. They're bombing hospitals, they're missile striking, innocent civilians, and that's what they're doing. And they're doing a bad job at taking over a country. That's all I'm gonna say. They're not doing a good job. Now, do they have an ulterior motive? I don't know. Does Biden know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't think anybody knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so like it really just depends. We have to see what we have to do. But I think in terms of response, and we were going back to what we were saying is in terms of what do you think is going to happen now? I just think we need to be stronger, right? We need to be much stronger in terms of showing Vladimir Putin that, yeah, we're not scared of you, right? Because I was just seeing today, like Russia and China, let's say combined, right? Versus the entire West combined. We, OP, like no one's stopping us, right? So like, obviously that's just a scenario where it's like, yeah, we're teaming up again, like allies and the other team, right? But obviously it's more complicated now. There's like a political thing. I know Germany and Russia have a pretty big like oil trade thing going on, like so like or natural gas thing going on. So it's way bigger politically instead of just saying like, yeah, you versus us, right? But yeah, there's no way that Russia thinks that they can take on us. But we have to show that we're not scared of you, and we have to show that we got the resources to beat you 14 times over.
I mean, yeah, we do. But and something of interest. So the March 10th, or the meeting that occurred on March 10th, what's it? Russian or Ukrainian foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba and Russian foreign minister Sergei Lavrov in Turkey. So basically, what came from this meeting was absolutely nothing, and and if it was a true negotiation, if Moscow showed interest in doing that, what is being said is that the United States and NATO could renew their offers to negotiate on arms control and you know risk reduction and make a genuine contribution to European security, including Russia, because I would say Russia's included somewhat, some sort. So I mean, we're making it pretty clear, at least the U.S., that if Russian forces left Ukraine, there would be sanction relief amongst all, right? And it could lead to a win on both sides, I guess, right? I mean, I'm only saying win on both sides because I know Ukraine already lost enough, right? They've lost enough. They've gone through plenty. Russia deserves the most right now. And honestly,
Backlash and sanctions. And I
yeah,
like what you're saying is that like at this point, I don't see a way in which Russia will gain anything from continuing this invasion. And even if they occupy Ukraine, right? They're not gonna so they're not gonna get anything from it. And so when you say it's a win for them, it's a win for them to pull out so that we can stop sanctioning them so hard and that the Russian ruble will actually be worth more than toilet paper, right? And it's a win for us because we don't have an invasion of a sovereign country, right? And just absolute, what frankly is a humanitarian crisis too, right? It's a war, yes, and what result of war is extreme humanitarian crisis, and so
yeah.
the win in that regard.
So I mean, I think the main question is, will Putin rethink his objectives, right? Will he start to think, somewhat logically, or is this really just a big, I don't know, um Trojan horse, for lack of a better term, right? Is this really, a fake ploy, or like to trick the world or something, right? It could, for a bigger plan. Is there some sort of background that we don't know? So I mean, I guess that's up in the air, right? That's a big question that we're not going to know the answer to until the war comes to maybe close to an end, right? I mean, who knows how long it's going to last, right? Maybe
Now it's
a
still
month.
increasing in severity. I mean, Putin's
Yeah.
getting frustrated that they're not making any progress, and so he's just more and more troops and more strikes and whatnot. The Ukrainians are holding up.
I mean, yeah, they are holding up, right? NATO's still going to hold up, right? Where that's,
Yep.
and then, we're going to put up a fight. We're going to put up a fight no matter what. And it's going to hurt us for a little bit. I mean, it's going to hurt my wallet. It's going to hurt your wallet
Yeah.
because, we get gas every single day.
Yeah, I filled up some sweet $3.5 gas last week, or 1.5 weeks ago. So I'm still surviving on that. The
Where are
next
you going, bro? Where?
last week, not this week,
Okay.
two
Okay.
weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. So I'm
Yeah.
still I'm still floating on that gas. I haven't filled up the $6 gas yet.
Yeah. I don't know why my head is like a floating, like, I don't know. It looks weird. But yeah, no, dude, I filled up gas and it was like
Uh,
$50 for the first time. And I was like, holy sh, like I'm not getting premium, bro. I'm getting regular on a Honda CRV. Like, chill out, bro. No, honestly, it's gonna happen for a little
we
while
got we
until
got this stupid inflation too. Like that's been going on way before this, right? It's been going on ever since just been increasing the pandemic during the pandemic, right? And so
yeah.
like not a good. I mean, obviously we have a better economy. We're better economically than Russia right now because ruble isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
And, um, and but we're still paying $7. Like it reached like $7 in some parts, right?
Yeah, Los Angeles, they've reached like 6, 7. I'm pretty sure. I mean, probably 7 by now. But I mean, uh,
Four, like I remember, like $4 was like, oh my god, $6, $7 gas. Like, how do you
back
that
in my day, it used to be a nickel. You know what I'm saying?
back in
Like,
my day, really?
no, I'm just kidding. But hey, who knows how long we're gonna be paying this much for gas? Or and let's pray for those in Ukraine. I mean, it's not like they're not fighting back, but they
Yeah,
still have their fair
they're
amount
fighting.
of
And
devastations.
obviously, like we have to do more in terms of aid to them right now. And I know that all the refugees that are coming out of Ukraine, they're now in Poland, and they're now in surrounding allied countries, and they are getting the aid. But also the people that are still there, they're there to fight, right? A lot of them that have chosen to stay, they're there to fight, and they've just shown an incredible amount of resolve. And truly, like, it's inspiring to see how much they're willing to fight for liberty and independence. And I think that people have, like in this, 21st century, we've become so the West, right? And people were, well off in our Western bubble. We've become sort of this misillusioned in the way that this will never happen. Like, is a liberty and all of that. Yeah, whatever. But like, this is just showing everybody like what it means to fight for your country, and not just for a piece of land, but for the principles that you hold dear to yourself, and to fight for your family. And so that really is this new wave of patriotism that we're seeing in Ukraine. I
Yeah.
mean, not wave, but like we're just seeing that in Ukraine right now, and hopefully that'll inspire others around the world to sort of, uh, you know, be a little bit more proud for themselves, stand up for themselves.
The
Uh,
situation that we're, or what, be grateful for what you have. I guess that's what, we're trying
yeah,
to say. 2.1 million refugees. I'm not sure if you said this, but fled, right? Fled Ukraine, and that's insane. Um, I guess it's either there's some, I feel like this war is honestly useless unless there's some sort of ulterior motive to Putin's plans, right? But other than that, will he, will he change his mind? Will he start thinking straight? Will he rethink his objectives, I guess you could say. And hopefully he will, right? And hopefully we'll be over with this mess sometime soon. But I guess thank you all for listening, tuning in, right? I think we had a great discussion today. And thank you all for being here for, the year that we've had so far, right? I think it's been great. We've had, let's just do it quick.
Well,
We started with COVID relief,
yeah,
right? The Black History Month special, existential crisis, the workforce, Asian hate. We just talked about like just a gas crisis discussion. Ever Lopez, that was a good one. I like that one. But Bezos, electric cars, Squid Games,
yep.
Jovic, and then Milltown Mel, ending off with a good note. But honestly, we've had a crazy year, and I'm honestly really proud of it. So thank you all for watching. So many last words.
No, I mean, like, yeah, what you were saying, crazy year in terms that just been so much going on, and it's both terrible to see, but also incredibly, like, we're privileged to be able to talk about that to you guys, right? And we're privileged enough to be able to talk about all these terrible things from a safe place to you guys, right? I think that's incredibly, like, I'm incredibly grateful for that. Have a like proper discussion about all these about what we talked about today, terrible situation. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy these podcasts. I know that we don't post as regularly as our name suggests.
We're getting, you know what? Just think of us as the bite-sized podcast. How about that? Okay, and then
Bite sized.
a bite-sized, yeah. And honestly, we love doing these podcasts. I mean, I don't know.
More than
So you love these podcasts,
yeah,
right? Exactly. Like we both love these podcasts. And honestly, we're both going off to college soon, I guess you could say. And you know, um, hopefully we get stuff done there too. But for the time being, we'll try to make the most out of it. We'll try to get the most videos we can, right? And in the time being. And thank you all for being here for so long with us. So peace out.
Peace.